Sports Network.
At sea and in the air, 170 American League players are serving the country. From the National League, 155 men have entered the armed forces. These men have doffed baseball uniforms for those of the Army, for the fighting uniform of the Navy. They're serving in the Marine Corps. Some are in the Coast Guard. Others are flying the planes of the Navy and of the Army Air Force. And to them and their fellow fighters overseas, Babe Ruth, the great Bambino who blasted 714 home runs in his Major League career, broadcasts a pre-game message.
This broadcast brought to the courtesy of the British Broadcasting Corporation affords the old Babe the opportunity of sending greetings to all the gang overseas at World Series times. Just to make sure you fellows don't miss baseball's classics this year, the American League is filing highlights of all the games. And we ship them all over and wrapped up in a package. Through this picture, baseball sends its most sincere and cordial greetings to every member in the armed forces. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, and from the hearts of every American, that I want to say God bless you great men and women over there, and God bless the ones that are going over. And if we fight as half as hard as you're fighting over there, that American flag will fly forever.
Come on, everybody, sing. Let's all sing.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Here we are at the Yankee Stadium in New York for the first game of the 1943 Baseball Classic, the World Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Yankees. For the second consecutive year, the Cardinals face the Yankee Bombers in baseball's Blue Ribbon event. Thousands of fans are crowding into the stadium. Our armed forces are really on hand, all wondering whether or not the Cardinals can retain the World Championship they won from the Yankees last year. And there's Bill Dickey, the Yankees' leading hitter this season. Dickey, the Bronx Bombers' great catching star, hit 351 this season, his 16th in a Yankee uniform. During his career with the Yankees, Bill has caught 100 or more games in 13 consecutive seasons, an all-time Major League record. And among those here to see Bill and the Yankees is the grand old man of baseball, the lovable Connie Mack. Connie himself was a great catcher back in the good old days, but today's fans know him best as manager of the Philadelphia Athletics. His is the longest service record in organized baseball. And right over here is Clark Griffith, president of the Washington Senators, with his base-stealing outfield star, George Case. And down behind home plate, the rival managers, Billy Southworth of the Cardinals and Joe McCarthy of the Yankees, have a friendly pre-game chat for the benefit of the cameramen. Joe McCarthy is one of the game's greatest managers. This year, he led the New York Yankees to the American League pennant for the 8th time. Martha Joe has already won 6 World Championships. Pitching for the Yankees will be Spud Chandler, leading Major League hurler of the year. Spud won 20 games and lost only 4. Opposing Chandler will be Max Lanier, a southpaw who won 15 and lost 7.
This is where most oil comes from, out of the ground and into your engine. Sure, it's refined, but it still retains some sort of impurities. And quite frankly, I won't use it. Mobil One's a little different. It's man-made, it's fully synthetic and pure. And that purity means cleaner engines, less engine wear and better performance. I tell you, it's worth paying a little extra for.
Nothing outperforms Mobil One.
The Outback has finally come to town. Introducing the Subaru Outback Sedan. A completely new kind of car that combines the rugged traction and control of full-time all-wheel drive with a decidedly uptown look.
My kind of town.
Outback Sedan, yet another first from Subaru.
Are you tired of scrubbing, scouring, and working your fingers to the bone? Then don't clean your kitchen or bathroom, zap it! Zap has been used by professional contractors for the past 5 years and is now available to you. Zap is quick and easy to use. Just pour on Zap, let it set, and wipe it off. And in minutes, your surfaces are back like new. Unlike ordinary cleaners that only work on surface dirt, Zap actually penetrates stains to magically restore surfaces to their original new shine. So now you can zap rust from your porcelain sink or tub. Zap dull, dingy tile and grout and watch it look new again. Zap your fiberglass shower and see dirt and hard water stains disappear like magic.
Zap is so easy to use. You can pour it on. You don't have to rub and scrub like all the old-fashioned cleaners. You wipe it off. Everything is restored like new. It is beautiful.
Zap, with its fresh wintergreen scent, works on porcelain, chrome, fiberglass, tile and grout, rust, hard water stains. In fact, Zap is 100% guaranteed to remove any stain from these surfaces or your full money back.
I had a rust ring around my tub for many years, and no household product would remove it. I tried Zap, I put it on, wiped it off, and it looks like a brand new tub. It's truly a miracle, and I love it.
Professional strength Zap is so concentrated, it replaces over $50 worth of ordinary cleaners. But call now and get Zap Concentrated Restorer, plus a bottle of Zap Easy Spray Cleaner and 2 Zap pads, all for only $19.95. Order in the next 5 minutes and we'll include a 3rd bottle of Zap Cleaner absolutely free.
It restored my grout to bright white. It cleaned my tile, the bathroom surfaces. It lifted that soap scum off, cleaned the hard water stains, the rust, and the smell is fantastic.
So don't clean it, restore it with Zap. For rush delivery, call this toll-free number or send $19.95 plus shipping and handling to Zap, P.O. Box 2220, Agoura Hills, California, 91376. Remember, call now to receive your extra free bottle of Zap. Order now.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're gonna love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You gotta eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism.
Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
You know the facts, you've heard the hype, but only SportsCenter brought you sports' biggest stories with insight, info, and attitude. Now, ESPN Classic goes back in a flash with SportsCenter Flashback. This week, how SportsCenter covered Pete Rose's lifetime ban from baseball. Did he really gamble away his chance of sliding into Cooperstown as the all-time hit king? It's sports history a whole new way, SportsCenter style. SportsCenter Flashback, Tuesday at 7, only on ESPN Classic.
This is ESPN Classic.
But now the 40th World Series is about to begin. Coach Art Fletcher of the Yankees and Captain Walker Cooper of the Cardinals are talking over the ground rules down at home plate. And then it's play ball. Chandler's on the mound getting his sign. And here's the pitch to Lou Klein. Klein hits it, but Lindell takes the fly in right center for the first out of a scoreless first inning. But in the second inning, catcher Cooper of the Cardinals slashes a grounder toward third baseman Johnson. It bounces off his glove, and Cooper is safe at first with a base hit. Chandler stretches and pitches to Karofsky. The Cardinal third baseman dumps the sacrifice bunt and is thrown out. Chandler to second baseman Gordon, who covers first. Cooper going to second. After Sanders fanned and Littwater walked, Marion slices an outside pitch off first baseman Etton's glove for a double down the foul line. Walker Cooper scores from second. but Steinbach's peg to Dickey nips Litweiler at the plate, and the Cardinals take the lead 1-0. In the Yankee fourth, Crissetti hits a grounder and is safe at first when Lanier drops the ball. Crissetti stole second. Then Johnson beats out a bunt down the first baseline, and Crissetti advances to third. Keller hits into a double play, Klein to Marion to Sanders, but Crissetti dashes home to tie the score 1-1. With 2 out and the score tied, Gordon picks up his favorite Louisville slugger. Joe works the count to 3 balls, 1 strike. Lanier winds up and throws a high, fast one. Gordon smashes the pitch for a tremendous drive deep into the left field seats next to the Yankee bullpen, 420 feet from the plate for a screaming home run that puts the Yankees out in front 2-1. There's that Yankee dynamite. In the Yankees' sixth, with the score tied 2-2, Crissetti was safe on an infield hit. Johnson drills a single past Marion at short, Crissetti stopping at second. Lanier got Keller on a fly to Musial in short right field, but now Gordon is at bat again. Lanier's pitch is wild. It hits the plate and bounces high into the air to catcher Cooper's right. Where is that ball anyway? There it is. Grab it. Crissetti scores from second. Johnson moves around to third, and the Yankees jump back into the lead, 3-2. Gordon fanned, and then Dickey drops a Texas League single into right, just out of second baseman Klein's reach. Johnson scores, and the Yankees lead 4-2. Pitching brilliantly, Chandler held the Cardinals scoreless in the next 2 innings, and then set down Karofsky and Sanders in the ninth. Litweiler taps a roller to Chandler, and Spud tosses him out at first. And so it's victory number 1 in the 1943 World Series for Spud Chandler and the Yankees by a score of 4-2.
For this historic 95th anniversary of the World Series Championship, Major League Baseball has authorized Balfour, maker of championship rings, to create a limited edition coin to commemorate the series. And now you can reserve one of these historic World Series coins for only $29.95. Millions of fans will watch the World Series games, but only 7,500 coins can be minted before the mold is destroyed. Each coin is individually numbered with a certificate of authenticity. The coin features the official logo of the New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves and is overlaid with pure silver and 24-karat gold by Balfour, the trusted name in sports collectibles. All advanced reservations will receive this collector's display case absolutely free. Sorry, due to the limited quantity authorized, only advanced reservations will be honored. Celebrate this historic 95th series and reserve this valuable collectible today.
To order your official World Series coin, call 1-800-214-3399. That's 1-800-214-3399.
To unlock your body's potential, there is nothing better than Soloflex. All the standard strength training exercises, each one correct in form and balance. The original, still unequaled, Soloflex.
Hi, I'm old school pitcher Bob Gibson.
2 strikes and a ball. Once again, a standing ovation. A new World Series record.
This is ESPN Classic.
Loyola Marymount star Hank Gathers collapsed here. To honor him, Bo Kimball, his teammate and best friend, shot his very first free throw with his left hand, just like Hank.
First free throw, left-handed, in honor of his friend, Hank Gathers.
Releases it. It goes in every time for Hank.
Come on, Michael, come on. Time to drop the hammer now. Looking good, Michael, looking good. Man, what a light. That's good enough to be the pole. Michael, you're not going to believe this.
Not today, Mikey.
Make way for Cyberdale and his knock-knock, out-of-my-way rabbit pack of pit bulls doing the jackhammer waltz. NASCAR 2000 EA Sports. It's in the game. This is ESPN Classic.
Here's the pennant-winning Yankee infield. First baseman Nick Etten, second baseman Joe Gordon, shortstop Frank Crissetti, and rookie third baseman Bill Johnson. Carrying the Yankee hopes into the second game is the big right-hander Ernie Tiny Bonham, who will match pitching prowess with Mort Cooper. Cooper matched Bonham pitch for pitch during the first two innings, and the first score came in the Cardinal half of the third inning. Marion took a toehold on one of Bonham's curves and lined a home run into the stands just behind the 301-foot sign at the left field foul line. The Cardinals jumped into a 1-0 lead. In the fourth, with Musial on second and one out, Korosky drills a single past Bonham's head into center field, and Musial scores the second Cardinal run. Bonham is in trouble. 2 balls and no strikes on first baseman Sanders. Here's the pitch. Sanders drives it into the right field seats, 344 feet from home plate, scoring Korosky ahead of him and making the score Cardinals 4, Yankees nothing. That's Yankee bombing in reverse. But in the fourth, Crissetti pops a bunt over first baseman Sanders' head for a base hit. After Matheny flied out to Walker in center. Rookie Bill Johnson lines a single into center field, and Crissetti goes to third. Mort Cooper is now in trouble, with Keller at the plate and only one out. With a 3-2 count, Keller drives a long fly to Walker in center. Crissetti tags up at third and scores the first Yankee run after the catch. Dickey connects, and it's a long fly down the left field foul line that Litweiler gathers in for the third out, and the Cardinals still lead 4-1. After the fourth inning flurry, the Yankees were held in check by Mort Cooper's brilliant hurling. It was not a ninth inning that the big Cardinal right-hander had trouble with the Yankees. Johnson connects for a double deep into left center field, and there's none out in the ninth. With a 2-2 count, Keller drives the ball over Litweiler's head in left field. Johnson scores, and Keller pulls up at third with a triple. The Yankees are really on a rally. Manager Southworth trots out of the Cardinal dugout to talk things over with Mort Cooper. There may be a new pitcher. No, Mort is going to stay in the game. And Dickey is the next Yankee hitter with none out and a man on third. Dickey snatches one, but he drives it right into second baseman Klein's hands for the first out. With one away, Mort Cooper faces Yankee first baseman Etten, who specializes in driving in runs. Nick drills a grounder at second baseman Klein, who tosses to Sanders at first for the out. But Keller scores, and the Cardinals are only 1 run in front, 4-3. Mort Cooper is bearing down. A fast one slides off of Joe Gordon's bat. It's a foul. And brother Walker Cooper gathers it in for the third out, and the ball game is over. The Cardinals win 4-3. Cooper wins his first game against an American League team and evens the series for the Cardinals at a game apiece. The third game in the series finds an all-time World Series record crowd on hand to see the Yankees battle the defending champion Cardinals. 69,990 fans have paid their way into Yankee Stadium for this game. And among the record thousand is the High Commissioner of Baseball, Judge Landis. Nearby is an ardent American League rooter, William Harridge, president of the American League. He and the other thousands are watching Hank Barrowy warming up for the Yankees. Alpha Brazel is opposing Barrowy, and the rookie Cardinal southpaw holds the Yankees to 3 hits in 7 innings, keeping the Cardinals ahead by a score of 2-1. But in the Yankee 8th inning, Lindell singles into center field. Walker fumbles the ball, and Lindell is safe at second on the error. Manager McCarthy sends George Sternweiss in to bat for pitcher Barrowy. Here's the pitch. Sternweiss bunts. First baseman Sanders scoops up the ball and fires it to Koroski at third. Lindell is out at third. No, he's safe. Koroski drops the ball as Lindell slides into third, and umpire Reardon of the National League quickly changes his decision. It's an error for Koroski, and the Cardinal third baseman is shaken up on the play. Manager Billy Southworth rubs Whitey's neck, and the third sacker stays in the game. Steinbach flies out to Litweiler in short left field, and it's one out with 2 Yankees on base. Manager Southworth flashes a sign from the dugout, and Crosetti is purposely passed. Bill Johnson is the next batter. What a spot for a rookie. His first World Series. The Yankees behind by a run, 1 out, and the bases full. Johnson smashes the ball into left center between Litweiler and Walker. The ball bounces off the wall 450 feet from home plate. Lindell is scoring. Sternweiss is scoring. Crosetti is scoring. And Johnson pulls up at third with a triple, driving in 3 runs to put the Yankees ahead 4-2. Keller was passed, and that was all for Brazel. Southworth removes Brazel for Howard Christ, a right-hander. With the count 3-1, Gordon goes after a cripple and lines a single into left field. Johnson scores, and Keller stops at second. With the Yankees on top 5-2, Southworth sends in Harry Brackeen, rookie southpaw, to pitch to Dickey. Bill smashes the ball between first and second. It hits Gordon. It's an automatic out, and Dickey is credited with a single. Etten hits a single into right field, and Keller scores from second. Dickey tries to make third, but is out. Musial to Cooper to Koroski. The Yankees lead 6-2. Fireman Johnny Murphy, pitching the ninth, gets the first 2 Cardinal hitters. Danny Litweiler swings and misses a third strike for the third out, and the ball game is over. The Yankees win 6-2 and take the lead in the series 2-1. The all-time record crowd sweeps down onto the field, talking of how the Yankees combine batting power and heads-up baseball to win. Baseball at Yankee Stadium is over until next year, and the team's in train for the 4th game, which will take the Cardinals back home.
Don't move.
Now there's a beer with a head on it.
Sink your teeth into a frost-brewed Coors Light.
In the name of progress, man has given up more and more control to the machines of his own creation. Perhaps it is time to take some of it back. The thoroughly exhilarating TL with 5-speed sequential sport shift from Acura.
You are so beautiful. To me, you are so beautiful.
Here, you fillet 'em.
No, you fillet 'em.
I hate filleting fish.
Me too.
Seems like no one ever wants the job of filleting. And who can blame them? Filleting a fish is awkward, messy, and it can even be dangerous. But now there's Flash Fillet. It lets you fillet a fish in a flash, both sides at once. Simply remove the fish's head like you always do and place the fish on your Flash Fillet. Then close and lock it. Now insert this special double-bladed knife and start filleting. All it takes is a gentle sawing motion, as easy as slicing bread. When you're done, open the Flash Fillet and you have 2 perfect fillets. That's right, Flash Fillet lets you fillet both sides of the fish at the same time. Nothing could be quicker or easier.
I'm gonna fillet him.
No, I'll fillet him.
No, I want to do it.
Me too.
Whether you're fishing from the shore or spending the day out on the lake, Flash Fillet takes the worst fishing chore and makes it easy and fun. It's perfect for bluegill, sunfish, crappie, calico bass, just about any fish up to a foot long.
I've been fishing for years, and now it's better than ever. With the Flash Fillet, I spend a lot less time filleting and a lot more time fishing.
And look, you don't have to be a fisherman to benefit from Flash Fillet. Instead of paying a huge premium for prepared fillets, buy your fish whole and fillet them yourself with Flash Fillet. You'll save lots of money and always enjoy the freshest fish. You get the Flash Fillet plus the special double-bladed knife, along with an easy-to-follow instructional video, all for only $19.99. Guaranteed to make filleting quicker and easier than ever, or your money back. So don't delay. Order your Flash Fillet now.
To order your Flash Fillet for only $19.99 plus shipping, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-725-5335. That's 1-800-725-5335. Or send check or money order to Flash Fillet, 8 Telegrants Plaza, Fairfield, New Jersey. Or call now 1-800-725-5335.
Tonight on ESPN at 7, Florida State versus Clemson. At 10, College Game Night. And at 11, Sports Center. On ESPN2, a college football doubleheader. At 6, LSU Mississippi State. At 9, Colorado State Wyoming. And at midnight, NFL Tonight. And on ESPN Classic. At 6, an NHL Classic. And at 9, college basketball classics. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
This is ESPN Classic.
Here we are at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, the home of the Cardinals. Thousands of St. Louis fans are turning out to cheer Billy Southworth's team on to a repetition of their 1942 victory. They sit on curbs until they can get inside to watch their Cardinals take their practice swing. With the Yankees leading 2-1, the Redbirds have their work cut out for them. But the Cardinals are now on their home grounds and are intent on giving a sellout crowd a victory. Billy Southworth, the fighting manager of the Cardinals, is the first National League manager in 20 years to bring a World Championship team back to a second consecutive pennant. Back again to start this fourth game for the Cardinals is lefty Max Lanier. Opposing him will be Marius Russo, another southpaw. And the fourth game of the 1943 Classic is on. Lanier holds the Yankees in check for 3 innings, and there are no scores. He gets Keller on a called third strike for the second out of the fourth inning. But Gordon drives the ball into left center. Walker dives for the ball, but he can't hold it, and Joe pulls up at second with a double. Even with 2 out, Lanier faces a dangerous hitter. It's Bill Dickey appearing in his 37th World Series game with the same club, a new record. Bill lines the pitch into center field for a single, and Gordon scores the first run of the ball game. The Yankees lead 1-0. With 2 out in the Cardinals' 7th, Sanders was safe at first when shortstop Crucetti dropped his easy pop fly for an error. Russo takes the sign and pitches to Litweiler. He drives it down the first baseline. The ball hits the bag and bounces into right field. It's a 2-base hit, and Sanders stops at third. McCarthy is playing percentage baseball. He gives the order to walk Marion, filling the bases, and giving the Yankees a play at every bag. Frank Demery comes in to bat for Lanier. Demery chops a bounding ball at third baseman Johnson. He fumbles it, and Sanders scores to tie up the ball game, 1-1. With the bases loaded, Klein hits a grounder to Gordon at second, forcing the runner and ending the Cardinal rally. Harry Brackeen comes in to pitch for the Cardinals in the Yankee 8th. Russo greets Brackeen with a drive to the left field corner. A long hit, his second double of the game. Steinbach lays down a perfect sacrifice bunt, and he's out. Brackeen to second baseman Klein, who covered first. Crucetti hits a long fly to Walker in center field, and Russo scores easily after the catch to put the Yankees in front 2-1. In the Cardinal 8th, with Musial on first, Cooper drives a hot one over second. Crucetti knocks the ball down. Cooper gets a hit, but Musial is held at second. After Karofsky flied out, Saunders hit a grounder to Gordon, who tosses it to Cressetti to force Cooper. Frank is pulled off the bag, but Cooper overruns the base, and Cressetti tags him for the out, ending the Cardinal threat. With 2 out and 1 on in the Cardinal ninth, Klein lifts one into center field. Steinbeck parks under it for the 3rd out, and the game is over. In another tight pitching duel, the Yankees win the 4th game, 2-1, and move out to a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. And now it's the 5th game, with the Cardinals at a big disadvantage. McCarthy sends his #1 Yankee battery of Spud Chandler and Bill Dickey in to clinch the series. The Cardinals' Billy Southworth counters with his aces, the famous Cooper brothers. And here we are, ready for the crucial game of the series. Cooper is pitching sensationally, striking out the first 5 Yankee batters. In the Yankee 5th inning, a foul tip from Cressetti's bat splits catcher Cooper's right index finger, and Ken O'Day will catch for the Cardinals. A scoreless tie going into the Yankee 6th. Keller single with 1 out. Dickey is the batter. He hits the first pitch and drives the ball over the right field pavilion roof for a home run. It's bad news for the Cardinals. Keller scores ahead of Dickey, and the Yankees lead 2-0. With 1 out in the last of the ninth, Marion singles. Litweiler also singles, and the tying run is on base. Chandler fans Klein. Garms hits a grounder to Gordon, and Joe throws him out at first. The Yankees win 2-0 to capture their 10th World Championship. Coach Art Fletcher leads the Yankees singing in their clubhouse victory celebration. Judge Landis offers his congratulations and is promptly hoisted upon Yankee shoulders. Manager Joe McCarthy, beaming over his 7th Yankee World Series victory, praises the work of his bombers, especially that of Bill Dickey and Spud Chandler, whose batting and pitching returned the world title to New York. Another year of baseball is over. The game that typifies a fit, fighting, athletic America lives on. New stars like Bill Johnson have appeared. Old stars like Joe Gordon have gained new luster. They and all baseball salute the men in the fighting uniforms of America.
Nana, what are you doing up?
You try sleeping with all this heartburn.
But you took those Tums before I left.
Honey, I've been taking Tums since before you were born.
Nana, you could have stopped that heartburn before it started with Pepsid AC.
I do like eating your father's chili.
And you do like your sleep. So take one now. Pepsid AC controls acid all night.
Say, you ladies haven't finished all my chili. Oh, yeah.
Start sleeping heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Buy 4 Michelin tires now and get a free emergency roadside kit. Play the Michelin Buy 4 and Score game. Just pick up a game card. Watch College Game Day on ESPN, then scratch and watch for your winning number. You could win a Dodge Viper, plus other great prizes. See your participating Michelin dealer by October 31st.
You ever shop at a buy in bulk store? Great concept, but come on, folks. Nobody needs 5 gallons of mayonnaise. Having this much mayo is more overkill than using a cruise missile to light a cigarette. You want to get a lot of something you can actually use for a low price? How's about a 20-minute call for only 99 cents, huh?
That's right. With 10-10-220, it's only 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes and just 9 cents a minute after that. All day, every day, and no monthly fees. It's simple. Just dial 10-10-220.
How long has this been out?
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, house burned.
That was a tough day.
They didn't treat us as a policyholder, they treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero.
He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
This is awfully sweet of you, Mrs. Anderson.
Well, I like for newcomers to feel at home in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it.
I hope so. They seem like such nice people. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Colossa's Bakery can help you welcome some old, new friends to Cleveland.
Thank you.
And I'll need that plate back.
But bring your Visa card, because Colossa's doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Did you know that airborne allergens can affect the air quality inside your home, making it up to 5 times worse than outside?
This Filtrete filter from 3M is the most effective 3-month 1-inch filter on the market. This chamber simulates your home's central heating and air conditioning system. It's filled with smoke to represent the particles commonly found in your air. I'll turn on these fans to circulate the air. Now, unlike a washable, reusable filter, the fibers in a Filtrete filter are electrostatically charged. Like a magnet, as you can see, the smoke is practically gone. And when compared to fiberglass filters, this Filtrete filter captures microparticles up to 30 times better.
Have your filter size ready to order the Filtrete filter from 3M for only $19.95. We'll also include a Scotch-Brite high-performance cloth to lift and capture dust without any cleaners, and this guide for creating a healthier home environment absolutely free. Call now and begin breathing the difference. Another 3M innovation. Help reduce airborne allergens and order this complete Filtrete package for $19.95. Have your credit card and filter size ready and call our toll-free number or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 13 weeks at just 57 cents a day, a 25% savings.
Call now 800-215-3500. That's 800-215-3500 for the Wall Street Journal.
From weekend warriors to weekday heroes, every day ESPN Classic is old school. This week, celebrate with the Rangers as they clinch the cup for the first time in over 50 years. Then, go to Game 7 from the 91 series. After 9 scoreless innings, the Twins break their deadlock with the Braves. And a classic matchup from the 72 AFC Championship. Plus, the fights of Henry Armstrong, the only boxer to hold 3 Division World titles at once. It's all this week on ESPN Classic. Are you old school?
This is ESPN Classic.
Hiya, fans. I'm Marty Glickman. We're out at the ballpark to talk baseball with one of the great catchers in the history of the game, Walker Cooper. But first, let's watch him in action. Say, he could do just about everything as a receiver. 6 times he played in the All-Star team, and 8 times he was chosen for the National League All-Stars. And here he is now, Walker Cooper. Walker, sure nice to see you.
Hello, Marty. Glad to see you.
Thank you very much. You were one of the great brother combinations of all time in baseball. Mort Cooper pitching, Walker Cooper catching. And when did you fellas get together as baseball players?
Well, I think our first time we got together and playing professionally was in '38 down in Houston, Texas.
Well, didn't you come up from Sandlot baseball together?
Well, we played in a league in Kansas City, Missouri, known as the Van Johnson League, and we played with a team called the Summidaries.
The Summidaries?
That's right.
With a couple of youngsters, as you and Mort were back then, was there any discussion as to who was going to pitch and who was going to catch and who was going to play first base and things like that?
Well, during grade school, we had a woman for a teacher, and Mort could throw real hard, and nobody could catch him, so wasn't anybody left with me to do the catching.
And you stuck as his catcher for many years?
Yes, I hope I can still go on.
Well, Walker, did you ever have any aspirations as a pitcher yourself?
Yes, Marty. My first year in pro ball was, I think it was 1935, was Rogers, Arkansas. And we had such a big margin at the half. And I pitched 5 innings during an all-star game there, but I got a bad hose out of it, so that was the end of my pitching.
I see. Did you and Mort ever disagree about how to pitch to a batter or talk it over after a ball game? Do you have any disagreements as to what the pitch was going to be?
Well, we did for the first couple of times out, but...
Who was boss?
Well, I was a younger, so Mort naturally was the boss.
Really? I thought the catcher was the boss in those situations.
Well, eventually, I became the boss. You know?
I see. Well, you mentioned coming up as a pro in 1935. Were you with the Gas House Gang at any time?
Well, during spring training, but all I did was what you might call as a caddy. I caught batting practice.
There must have been quite some gang, that gas house gang.
Oh, they had a lot of fun, Marty.
Who were some of the ball players?
Well, they had Rip Collins and Pepper Martin and Dizzy and Paul Dean, and Virgil Davis, Frisch, DeRocher.
Say, that's right. Leo DeRocher was with that gas house gang, and he was also your manager for a time with the New York Giants.
That's right, Marty. I went to spring training with the Cardinals in 35, and I think at that time DeRocher was coaching some college during the spring training or something, and he was a little late reporting, but I do remember him being there, but of course he wouldn't remember me being a rookie.
Well, I'm sure he remembers you now, in as much as you were one of the fellows who hit 221 home runs. He set a major league record for the New York Giants.
Yes, that's right, Marty, but Art was the manager then.
He was?
Oh, yes.
Well, then Leo came to the Giants, and then he decided that he wanted my kind of a baseball team, Leo's kind of a baseball team, and you and Buddy Kerr and Sid Gordon and Willard Marshall were traded off, and then you fellas sort of got even one particular day, the very first time you played the Giants.
Yes, that's right, Marty, and I think I hit a home run with the bases loaded. My first trip back to the Polo Grounds.
To help win that ball game.
That's right, Marty.
I think, though, that perhaps your fondest years were with the St. Louis Cardinals, those great Cardinal clubs of 42, 43, 44, and 46. That was quite an aggregation.
Oh, Lord. I wish I could play on one more like that 42 ball club at St. Louis.
Well, some of those ball players. How about Stan Musial? He was a rookie that year, wasn't he?
Yes, Marty. He pitched against us in a spring training game.
He pitched?
That's right. And he come up with a bad arm, and he finished the season with us playing the outfield.
And he's been playing the outfield and first base ever since.
Yeah, I'll bet he's sure glad he come up with a sore arm.
Was he tabbed for greatness when he came up as a rookie? Did you know at that time that he was going to be as great as he is?
Well, Terry Moore was a pretty fair center fielder, as you recall, and he told somebody one day that Musial had the best judge of a fly ball that he ever played alongside of.
Yes, and they still talk about Musial as a fellow who can hit that ball, and very few people realize what a great outfielder he is with the glove as well.
That's right. He can do most anything.
How about the shortstop you had in those days?
Oh, well, we call him Bag of Bones and Marty Marion.
That's right. He was quite a ball player, wasn't he?
Well, he's the best I've ever played with.
And you had a whole flock of good pitchers that you used to catch. Harry Burkeen, Ernie White, Johnny Beasley.
Yeah, there's Max Lanier, and, of course, there's my brother Mort.
Oh, he was pretty good.
Just a fair country pitcher.
That's right. Great seasons you had, and I think perhaps one of the outstanding games that you particularly had was in that World Series of 1943. The second game of the World Series.
Yes, that's right, and we won that in 4-3, I think, and that was a pretty happy moment.
But that second game of 1943 must have been a particularly happy day for you, Walker, with you winning the ball game as you did, Mort Cooper's first World Series victory, the only win as it turned out for the St. Louis Cardinals against the Yankees that year. Quite a day.
Well, it should have been, Marty, but I had a little sad news the morning before the game started.
What was that?
Well, we had the news that our dad had passed away, and it was all between myself and Southworth whether we should break the news to Mort or not.
You mean before he pitched?
That's right, Marty.
Well, what'd you decide?
So Southworth and I had quite a lengthy talk, and then we decided, well, maybe he should know something about it. And so we all three got together, and Southworth was wondering whether we should, or whether we wanted to go ahead and play that game or go on home.
Well, how did you feel about it?
Well, we just felt that Dad would want it that way, so we went ahead and played the ball game.
And won it, too.
That's right, Marty.
Well, Walker, I hope you go on for years to come, winning many ball games. Thanks very much for coming by now. The best of luck to you.
Thank you, Marty.
Walker Cooper.
I've always been set in my ways. So when Subaru told me they were changing my Outback, I was a tad concerned. Truth is, they just made it better. This next generation Outback's got a stylish new body, quieter ride, and their best all-wheel driving system ever. Sort of inspired me to make a few changes. I think this works. The new Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon from Subaru.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way? Be my guest. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles. You ought to change your oil on time, but if you can't, can you say insurance? Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
Buy Quaker State and get a hat or T-shirt from one of your favorite college football teams.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism.
Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
Where is my magazine?
Subscribers to ESPN the magazine, including Marcus Camby, really look forward to each new issue.
Where's my magazine?
They love the magazine, and every new subscriber gets this ESPN the magazine windbreaker free. This windbreaker's a great free gift that you'll really use. Navy blue, wind, and water resistant, with an embroidered ESPN the magazine logo and a zip front pocket. So subscribe now to ESPN the magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be, with unbelievable photos, honest interviews, previews, predictions, and insights on the teams to beat and the players to watch. Plus your favorite ESPN personalities like Dan Patrick and Stuart Scott, all delivered right to your mailbox. Call now for ESPN the magazine. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. $1 an issue, 66% off the newsstand price. And with your paid subscription, you'll get your ESPN the magazine windbreaker free.
Hey, man, that's my ESPN the magazine. Go order your own.
Mr. Canby? Mr. Canby? Your dog.
Call now for ESPN the magazine and your free windbreaker. 1-800-544-9977. 1-800-544-9977.
Go one-on-one with the legends you'll never forget.
Why I'm in love with Classic Sports is because it gives people a chance to see for themselves some of the things that we do.
Anybody that gets in my way is going to pay.
I knew I could take on these women in my prime, but the prime was gone.
I got the chance to live my dreams.
The ABA was the most special of times.
Yeah, but I don't remember too well. That's what happens when you play without a helmet.
Go one-on-one, Shap one-on-one. Weeknights at 6:30 only on ESPN Classic.
It ain't over till it's over.
This is ESPN Classic.
Hiya, fans. I'm Marty Glickman. We want to talk baseball once again. And you know, it isn't often that a baseball player comes up as a pitcher, then develops into a hard-hitting outfielder, and once again makes a comeback as a pitcher. But that's the story of Johnny Lindell. And now let's get over to the other side of the ballpark and see Luke Fonseca as he talks with Johnny Lindell.
Say, Johnny Lindell. How are you?
Yes, sir. Fine, Lou. Fine.
Good. Well, it's nice to see you back again, John. I see a different name across the front of the uniform. It's Pittsburgh now, and it used to be the Yankees, but the main thing is you're back in the big show.
Yes, sir, Lou. It used to be the Yankees. Now it's Pittsburgh. And being with Pittsburgh, I really believe that I have quite an opportunity to finish out my 10 years, and really it's a real ball club to have a chance with now.
John, do you remember the fourth game of the 1947 World Series?
Do I? I hope. At more ways than one. If you remember correctly, it was Bevan's no-hitter, and it happened that I did make a pretty lucky catch on Jackie Robinson in that. And it was just an all-around great series, that's all.
Well, what happened when you slid across that foul line head first? Did you feel like you were going through the stands or something?
Well, the way it loomed up in front of me all of a sudden, I thought I was, and I really didn't realize I had it, though, until I looked in my glove, and there it was.
Hey, Johnny, in that first ball game of the 1947 World Series, when you walked up to the plate with those sacks loaded, then what happened?
Boy, I can't forget that one either, Lou, because the sacks were loaded. First time up, I struck out. Looked pretty bad, but I luckily hit a double down the left field line and 2 runs scored. And we went on right from there to go ahead and win the first game of the 1947 series.
Well, you had pretty good luck in that series, or you were certainly hitting the ball in that second ball game. Didn't you tee into one, too?
Yes, I believe that there was more or less, they say, a misplayed triple, but those shadows do kind of funny things in the stadium that time of the year, and it was a triple.
And I think a double and a single in Game 4.
Yeah, something like that, Lou, yeah.
Well, John, I'm going way back now to when you pitched for the Newark Bears over here in 1941. Tell us something about your pitching career in those days.
Well, I had been signed in the Yankee organization as far back as 1936 and went right on through their school on up to Newark in 1941 as a pitcher all that time. And having my very best year I had, it was won 23 and lost 4 that year, Lou, and it was amazing. I don't believe it yet either.
That's a pretty good year, I'll say, John. I'd like to see you do some of that pitching here with the Pirates now that you're back at the big show. You're a knuckleball pitcher mainly, is that right, John?
Yes, sir. That's what I call my bread and butter pitch. Bring me back to major leagues or something like that, because it is a very peculiar pitch, and it has to be delivered. It's hard to control. It's hard to catch. It's hard to hit. It's hard everything. So it is held in this way. Really, not so much the knuckleball, other than a fingertip pitch, we might say. And it both does the same thing. It's a butterfly, and it's released in this manner. It's released still, and it comes up and breaks off sharp at the last minute. And it's just hard for everybody, hard for the umpire to call it. Misses some, it gives you some. So all around, you just got to be pretty darn lucky with it. The answer is get it over.
Is that the pitch you've been flipping up with those hitters out in the Pacific Coast League while you were pitching for Hollywood?
That's right, Lou. I did. Finally came through. I had a fairly good year out there. I won 24 and lost 9, and strictly the knuckleball, using it about, I'd say 80% of the games. And this fellow Sadlock and I, as a battery mate of mine, we were working together, and they brought him up here, and we're working together now. And it's a wonderful thing to have a catcher that knows how to work with you, and you really block this pitch anyway, so a catcher has to learn to do that.
Is that any particular strain on your pitching arm, Johnny?
Well, no, I'd say not. It has to be thrown correctly, not to hurt the arm. If it's shoved instead of thrown, yes, it will hurt your arm. But it is no harder on your arm than a fastball if thrown correctly.
Well, I don't want you to feel like too much of a veteran. I know you've been around quite a while now, because we have a fellow by the name of Dutch Leonard, pitching for the Cubs, that's been around a long time, one of those knuckleball pitches.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Lou. If I can last as long as that fella, I know I'm going to make my pension and everything else. And I hope, by golly, they have that much confidence in me to keep me around that long.
Well, John, there's one thing I always admired about you, and having been a ball player myself before your time, was the fact that you always had that old determination to win when you were with the Yankees, and you didn't give an inch to anybody, and I know that you're going to do the same thing out there with the Pirates when you're throwing that knuckler up at these hitters.
Well, Lou, I certainly thank you, and it's been always my motto for one thing. Remember Joe McCarthy said it doesn't cost a cent to hustle, and I remember that, and if you go out and hustle no matter what happens, by golly, they're going to keep you around a little longer, Lou.
Well, that's the spirit that makes great competitors and real big league ball players, Johnny. What is that new gadget, new cap you have on there?
You mean this thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Lou, it's a new protection. It's, well, say a protective cap. It is made out of fiberglass, and I believe Mr. Rickey has more or less invested in this thing, and so therefore we're trying it out for him, and we are using it as playing in it as well as going to bat with it on.
Are these hats made by someone connected with Mr. Rickey, or what?
Well, I guess it's a corporation of some kind. They're not too bad to wear, you see. It does really form a fine protection for the temple part of here and this. Now, for me personally, it's pretty tough to pitch in, but not bad to go up and bat in. Of course, it's a real good thing, and thinking of protection and beanball and all that thing, why, I think it's a pretty good idea.
I think it's a very good thing for a hitter up at the plate, Johnny.
Yes, they've been looking for something like that for quite a while.
Well, if they happen to hit one back at you,
that'd
help too.
I should say.
Well, John, talking about that 1943 World Series again, what do you say we look at Game 3 of that particular
Fine,
series?
Lou. I could always look at that one, I'll tell you.
A lot of people have allergies. I have multi-symptom nasal allergies. It's the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. It's all of it. I told my doctor, I've had it. I want an allergy medicine made for my kind of allergies. He prescribed multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. And now, all it takes is a toll-free phone call to get a $5 savings certificate for Flonase, plus valuable allergy information and the latest Allergy Talk newsletter. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's databank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-754-0077.
Takes the snap. He drops straight back. Has some time. Now scrambles away from one hit. Looks. Uncorks the deep one for the end zone. Phelan is down there. Oh, he got it! He got it!
Counting down the top 20, a humble man with a heroic swing. He defied all odds and rewrote baseball history. Then, his prodigious talent and pure athleticism made him the most formidable offensive threat the game had ever seen. Sports Century athlete number 14, Hank Aaron at 10, and number 13, Wilt Chamberlain at 10:30. Friday on ESPN, presented by General Motors.
Third game of the 1943 World Series finds a record crowd on hand to see the Yankees battle the defending champion Cardinals. Alpha Brazel is opposing Barowie, and the rookie Cardinal southpaw holds the Yankees to 3 hits in 7 innings, keeping the Cards ahead by a score of 2-1. But in the Yankee 8th inning, Lindell singles into center field. Walker fumbles the ball, and Lindell is safe at second on the error. Manager McCarthy sends George Sternweiss in to bat for pitcher Barowie. Brazel stretches. Here's the pitch. Lindell is out at third. No, he's safe. Kurowski drops the ball as Lindell slides into third, and umpire Beans Ridden of the National League quickly changes his decision. It's an error for Kurowski, and the Cardinal third baseman is shaken up badly on the play. Ainback flies out to Litwilder in short left field, and it's 1 out with 2 Yanks on base. Manager Southworth flashes the sign from the dugout, and Crosetti is purposely passed. Bill Johnson is the next batter. What a spot for a rookie. Johnson smashes the ball into left center between Litwilder and Walker. Johnson pulls up at third with a triple, driving in 3 runs to put the Yankees ahead 4-2. Fireman Johnny Murphy, pitching the 9th, gets the first 2 Cardinal hitters. Danny Litwilder swings and misses the 3rd strike for the 3rd out, and the ball game is over. The Yankees win 6-2 and take the lead in the series 2-1. Well, how'd you like that ball game, John?
Well, Lou, that certainly bring back fond memories. You believe me.
Well, you know, you were a pretty big fella crashing into infielders there in those days. How much you weigh?
Well, at that time, I weighed about 2.5. At the present time, Lou, I've gained a little. I weigh 230 right now.
I know one thing, if I was around third or second base and saw you coming out, well, I think I'd give you a little room with that 230.
Well, I was a little faster then, too. I'm not so fast anymore.
Well, John, you had some real thrills in World Series play, and I know you enjoyed taking a look at that ball game again. I hope that you start a new career now with the Pittsburgh Pirates and win some ball games for Fred Haney and get that ball club going. It's nice to see you again, John, and talk baseball with you, and lots of good luck.
Thank you, Lou. It's wonderful going back over what happened years ago. I'll never forget it, Lou. Thank you very much.
Fine, Johnny.
Well, that Johnny Lindell was really a great all-around ball player. You saw him making the tumbling, sparkling catch. He could belt that baseball, and man, how he can pitch. He uses that remarkable physique of his, and more important, he uses his noodle, too. Well, until we meet again with more baseball thrillers and the men who make them, this is Marty Glickman saying so long.
This is ESPN Classic, the Classic Sports Network.
"1946 was baseball's banner year. Never before has fan enthusiasm reached such heights. The turnstiles of the Major League parks turned more than 18 million times during the season. Attendance that smashed records everywhere.
Detroit, Riggs Stadium admitted more than 1,700,000 to see the Tigers play. Chicago, the Cubs drew more than 1,300,000 rabid baseball fans. Brooklyn, Ebbets Field seated more than 1,700,000 during the season, and New York, where over 2,200,000 watched the games at Yankee Stadium.
47 million paid admissions to professional baseball in 1946. More than ever before, baseball was truly America's national game. With the season well along and the World Series not far off, national interest turned to Boston's Fenway Park on July the 9th, when a capacity crowd filled the park to see the pick of the major leagues in the 13th annual All-Star Game. Here is the starting infield for the National League team. Whitey Karofsky, third base, Marty Marion, shortstop, Al Schoendienst, second base, and Johnny Mize, first base. And for the American League team, the starting infield, Ken Keltner, third base, Johnny Pesky, shortstop, Bobby Doerr, second base, and Mickey Vernon, first base. And the opposing pitchers, Bob Feller, strikeout king of the majors, and Claude Passaw, dependable right-hander of the Chicago Cubs. In the National League part of the first inning, Red Schoendienst grounded out to Vernon. In the American League half, with 2 men out, Williams walked. Then Charlie Keller of the Yankees came to bat. Here's the pitch. And Keller connects for a long drive into the right field bullpen. A home run wallop that scored Williams ahead of him, making the score 2-0 for the American League All-Star team. In the American League fourth, with Higbee pitching, Williams wallops a tremendous drive into the center field bleachers. A home run for the third tally of the game. In the American League eighth, Rip Sewell was on the mound facing Ted Williams, with runners on first and second and 2 men away. Rip threw Williams his famous blooper pitch. Let's take a look at the height of that blooper pitch. Ted stepped into it and slammed it out of the park for his second home run of the game, scoring Kramer and Stevens ahead of him. When Verban, batting for Karofsky, fouled to catcher Wagner for the 3rd out of the 9th inning, the American League All-Stars were victorious over the National League All-Stars by a score of 12-0, behind the capable pitching of Kramer, Feller, and Newhouser. The 43rd World Series started in St. Louis, and the fans who had followed the Cardinals to their league victory filled Sportsman's Park to capacity to view the Classic. While they're arriving, let's take a look around and see who's here. There's Ford Frick, president of the National League, in the best of spirits. And here are Horace Stoneham, president and owner of the New York Giants, Mel Ott, who managed the Giants through the season, and secretary Eddie Brannick. And here's a twosome from the Cincinnati Reds, general manager Warren Giles, and his newly appointed manager, Johnny Noon. National League rooters are certainly out strong today. Here's jovial Bob Lewis, traveling secretary of the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs manager, Charlie Grimm, with Herb Pennock, vice president of the Philadelphia Phillies, and a couple of American leaguers, Tom Yawkey, owner of the Boston Red Sox, with his vice president, Eddie Collins. But things are starting to happen out on the field now. Let's see what's going on. Joe Cronin, manager of the Boston Red Sox, has selected for his starting pitcher Tex Houston, his right-handed fastball twirler who won 20 games during the season. And Eddie Dyer, the Cardinals manager, has chosen Howie Pollette, the slim left-hander, winner of 20 games during the pennant race. While these pitchers are warming up, let's have a look at the starting lineups for the Boston Red Sox.
McBride, right field. Pesky, shortstop. DiMaggio, center field. Williams, left field. York, first base. Dorr, second base. Higgins, third base. Wagner, catching. Houston, pitching.
And the lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Al Schoendienst, second base. Terry Moore, center field. Stan Musial, first base. Enos Slaughter, right field. Whitey Karosky, third base. Joe Garagiola, catching. Harry Walker, left field. Marty Marion, shortstop. And Howie Pollette, pitching.
With their teams set for battle, the rival managers get together for a final handshake. And the umpires settle the last of the ground rules, and the big moment is at hand. Now Commissioner Chandler throws out the first ball, and it's...
Play ball!
The 1946 World Series is on. In the first inning, McBride grounded to Karosky and was thrown out at first. In the second inning, the entire Cardinal infield, with the exception of the shortstop, shifted toward the right as a defense against the renowned Williams. Ted grounded sharply to Schoendienst, and the Cardinals' strategy seemed perfect. After York was hit by a pitch ball and Dorr walked, Higgins came up with 2 on bases. He slammed a single to right center, scoring York and sending Dorr to third. The Red Sox lead 1-0. The Cardinals tied the score in the last half of the 6th. With a teammate on second and 2 out, Musial doubled off the right field wall, scoring Schoendienst. With 2 out in the Cardinal 8th and no one on base, Karosky singled to left. The big break for St. Louis came when Dom DiMaggio lost Joe Garagiola's long fly in the late afternoon haze, and the ball got away from him for a 2-base hit. The hero of Italian Hill in St. Louis was out at third to retire the side just a moment before Karosky had crossed the plate. However, both umpires, Lee Ballenfant and Charlie Berry, permitted the run to count as Pinky Higgins, Red Sox third baseman, had obstructed Karosky as he passed third base. This put the Cardinals in front 2-1. In the first half of the 9th inning for the Red Sox with 1 out, Higgins singled sharply to left field. Glenn Russell, batting for Wagner, followed with a single to center, and the speedy Don Gutteridge, who was put in to run for Higgins, advanced to third. Catcher Roy Partee batted for Houston and fanned. The Cards at this point were within 1 pitch of victory. Then Tom McBride drove one through the infield to left, scoring Gutteridge and tying up the old ball game with 2 runs each. Here we are in the Red Sox 10th, one of those rare extra inning games in World Series play. With the game deadlocked at 2-2, 2 out in the first half of the 10th inning, York drove a pitch from the Cardinal left-hander Howie Pollette high and far into the left field bleachers. The knockout blast was a devastating blow from the bat of Rudy York. This put the Red Sox in front 3-2. In the Cardinal 10th, with Schoendienst on third and 2 men out, Slaughter flied to right field, and the first game of the 1946 World Series was in the Red Sox bag after 10 innings of play by a score of 3-2.
Countless mornings at the lake, This race could be our big break. Just love that mountain groove. Now I'll leave my crew. In rhythm we row as one, racing towards the rising sun. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Hey! He's in the garage. Hey!
If you're going to have a garage, have a garage. And if you're going to use an oil, use an oil. Pennzoil with Pure Base, specially formulated for stop-and-go driving.
Like what I've done with the place?
Hey, what does this do?
Well, that opens up the roof so I can airlift anything in or out of the garage.
Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Hi, I'm Doug Flutie, pro football player and father of an autistic child. I started the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation to help less fortunate families of autistic children get the support they need. Here's a way you can help. Just dial 1010-220. All calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents, and 1010-220 will make a donation to the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation every time you use it. So dial 1010-220, get up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, and help some great kids at the same time. It's a win-win situation. I wish football was this easy.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're gonna love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You gotta eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too, and Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
You know the facts, you've heard the hype, but only SportsCenter brought you sports' biggest stories with insight, info, and attitude. Now, ESPN Classic goes back in a flash with SportsCenter Flashback. This week, how SportsCenter covered Pete Rose's lifetime ban from baseball. Did he really gamble away his chance of sliding into Cooperstown as the all-time hit king? It's sports history a whole new way. SportsCenter style. SportsCenter Flashback, Tuesday at 7, only on ESPN Classic.
Today, the Red Sox get ready for the second game of the World Series in St. Louis. Boston's starting pitcher is going to be Mickey Harris, winner of 17 games during the American League pennant race. And the St. Louis starter will be Harry Brackeen, who was Eddie Dyer's money pitcher in the latter part of the season. There was no scoring until the Cardinals' third, when the young catcher, Del Rice, lined a pitch off Harris for a double into left field. When Brackeen looped a single into right field, scoring Rice, the Cardinals are in front, 1-0. Going into the Cardinals' fifth, Rice singled to left center. Brackeen bunted. When Higgins' throw went past Pesky's outstretched glove, Rice reached third and Brackeen second. After Shane Dienst was out, Terry Moore singled off a Door's glove, scoring Rice. Brackeen stopped at third. Musial forced Moore, Door to Pesky, and Brackeen scored run number 3 for the Cardinals. In the last of the ninth for the Red Sox, DiMaggio beat out a hit down the third baseline. After Williams and York had been retired, Door flied to Walker in left field. And it was Brackeen's first World Series scalp by a score of 3-0, since he whipped the Browns handily in the All-St. Louis series 2 years ago. The Boston Red Sox came home for the third game, home to Fenway Park for the first World Series game that field has seen in 28 years. Well, here's the stranger in Fenway Park, Sam Braden, president and principal owner of the Cardinals, eager to see his team follow up their last victory. And here are a couple of off-season pals from rival leagues. Leo DeRocher, capable manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and Joe DiMaggio, the New York Yankees star center fielder. And no World Series would be complete without the president of the American League, William Herridge, seen here chatting with a young Red Sox baseball enthusiast. Here's the Cardinals' starting pitcher warming up, the sturdy little right-hander, Murray Dixon. Against him on the mound for Boston will be the crack American League sophomore from Shaw, Mississippi, Dave Boo Ferris, pitching the reach ball, which has always been the official ball of the American League. Everything's ready, and up in the press box, the big league sports writers are waiting to flash the game reports to the four corners of the earth. In the Red Sox half with one out, Pesky singled to left. After DiMaggio was retired, Williams was passed purposely. This brings the sturdy son of the Southland, Rudy York, to bat. Here's the pitch, and there it goes, a long home run drive into the left field screen, scoring Pesky and Williams ahead of him, and putting the Red Sox in front in the very first inning, 3-0. In the last of the third, Williams crossed up the dire strategy by bunting safely down the third baseline. After this, Karofsky remained in his third base position. The Cardinals threatened in the sixth when pitcher Dixon doubled to the left field corner. But DiMaggio came in fast for a catch of Shane Dean's short fly and doubled Dixon off a second. With 2 out in the Cardinal ninth, there was still hope when Stan Musial lined a triple to the far right center field corner of the park. He was left stranded when Enos Slaughter struck out to end the ball game. Game number 3 meant victory number 2 for the Red Sox by a score of 4-0. The starting pitcher for St. Louis is Big George Munger, an Army lieutenant up until August of 1946. Tex Houston was sent back by the Red Sox for his second try for a World Series victory. The first inning was quiet, but the Cardinals' leadoff man in the second, Enos Slaughter, fired the opening shot when he belted a 380-foot homer into the right field stands. Whitey Karofsky followed with a double against the left field wall. After Gary Giola was out, Harry Walker singled to right, scoring Karofsky with run number 2. After Shane Deans singled in the third, Houston threw wild to first on Moore's sacrifice. Shane Deans going to third, and Moore to second on the error. Musial followed with a double to right center, scoring Shane Deans and Moore. At this point, manager Cronin decided to replace Houston as Red Sox pitcher, and another right-hander, Jim Bagby, came in to take over the pitching chores. In the Red Sox half of the fourth, Ted Williams singled to right field, and Rudy York followed with a solid smash to right center field for 2 bases. Williams scored the first Red Sox run of the ball game. Going into the Cardinal fifth with 1 out, Slaughter doubled high off the left field wall. Whitey Karofsky followed with a 2-base hit to the same section, scoring Slaughter. Score 7-1 Cardinals. Here we are in the last of the 8th, with the Red Sox trailing by 7 runs, with DiMaggio on first and 2 away. Bobby Doerr lined one of Munger's pitches over the left field wall for a 2-run homer. Now the score was 8-3. But the Cardinals weren't through. In their 9th, Slaughter singled to center. Koroski bunted safely toward third. When Higgins threw wild to first, Slaughter reached third. Garagiola followed with a single to right, scoring Slaughter. This was enough for Mace Brown, the fourth Red Sox pitcher, to leave the game. He was replaced by the veteran right-hander, Mike Reba. Going into the Red Sox ninth with 2 out, Wally Moses got an infield hit when he grounded to Musial and beat the toss to Munger, who covered first. Shortstop Pesky grounded out to end the ball game, and the scoreboard read St. Louis Cardinals 12, Boston Red Sox 3. The Redbirds had humbled the Boss Sox with a 20-hit barrage, a scoring melee that tied a World Series record established 25 years ago. These three, Enos Slaughter, Whitey Koroski, and young Joe Garagiola, joined the exclusive club of ball players who have made 4 hits in 1 World Series game. To give the Red Sox a bit of comfort, Wally Moses rapped out 4 hits, joining 22 others who have collected 4 World Series hits in 1 game prior to 1946.
Where is my magazine?
Subscribers to ESPN the magazine, including Marcus Camby, really look forward to each new issue. They love the magazine and their free ESPN the magazine windbreaker. It's wind and water resistant with an embroidered ESPN the magazine logo and a zip front pocket. So call now for ESPN the magazine. Get 26 issues a year's worth for just $1 an issue. 66% off the newsstand price. And our ESPN the magazine windbreaker is free.
Hey man, that's my ESPN the magazine. Go order your own.
Mr. Camby?
Call now for ESPN the magazine and your free windbreaker. 1-800-564-5115.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting instructional video. Baseball World's Defensive Drills video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same techniques that produced his back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Collegiate Baseball Magazine's editor calls it a masterpiece, the best drill video ever produced. This video is endorsed by top professionals like superstar Fred McGriff.
This is the instructional video that gets results.
The Defensive Drills video benefits players of all ages and ability levels and makes a great gift too, so call now.
Tonight on ESPN at 7, Florida State versus Clemson. At 10, College Game Night. And at 11, Sports Center. On ESPN2, a college football doubleheader. At 6, LSU Mississippi State. At 9, Colorado State Wyoming. And at midnight, NFL Tonight. And on ESPN Classic. At 6, an NHL Classic. And at 9, college basketball classics. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow.
Look! Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
The Cardinal manager, Eddie Dyer, will try to get his talented southpaw, Howie Pollette, through another game. And for Boston, the starting pitcher will be Joe Dobson, 200-pound Oklahoman, a right-hander with a fine assortment of pitching wares. The Red Sox opened their half when Gutteridge singled. Then Pesky lined a base hit to right field. After DiMaggio forced Gutteridge out at third, Williams singled sharply to right, scoring Pesky, sending DiMaggio to third. Ted took second on the throw to the plate. 3 of the first 4 Red Sox hitters had landed on Pollette for line hits, and so Dyer removed him from the game at this point. His back was still taped, and it was evident that he wasn't right. Alpha Brazel, the sandy-haired Oklahoman, followed Pollette and retired the side without further scoring. The Cardinals tied it up in the second when Garagiola had reached second on Pesky's error, and Walker doubled down the left field line, scoring Garagiola. In the last half of the second, the Red Sox catcher Partee singled to center. Dobson bunted, and when Kurowski threw late to second, both runners were safe. Don Gutteridge, filling in for Bobby Doerr, singled to center, scoring Partee. And this put the Red Sox back into the lead, 2-1. After Pesky was out, DiMaggio ended the inning by hitting into a double play. In the Boston sixth, Lee Culbertson is the hitter. Brazel takes the signal. Culbertson times one solidly for a home run over the left field wall, making the score 3-1 for the Red Sox. Now the Cardinals are up for their last try in the night. With runners on second and third and two away, Harry Walker dropped a single over second base, scoring Musial and Kurowski. Shortstop Marion popped to Pesky for the final out. The Red Sox had bounced right back to defeat the Cardinals in the fifth and final game of the series in Boston by a 6-3 count.
Look out, motorists. Old Man Winter's out to get you.
You're cold and cruel and you don't fight fair. That's okay. See if I can.
No matter what Winter throws at you, Prestone Antifreeze is how you fight back.
Hit me with your best shot.
Kick Old Man Winter in the teeth with the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below.
Hit me with your best shot.
Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
3 motorcycles passed here. 3 men, 2 women, all carrying Visa cards. How do you know that, grandfather? Because Central Oz Motorcycle Adventures doesn't take.
American Express.
Central Oz will take you to a place beyond your imagination, but they won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Don't move.
Now there's a beer with a head on it.
Sink your teeth into a frost-brewed Coors Light.
Together we've celebrated birthdays and opening days. Good efforts and little losses. Moments that live once and forever. But what we've really celebrated is time together. Now McDonald's salutes the year-long Walt Disney World Millennium Celebration, where new memories are yet to come. Commemorate this momentous event at McDonald's with 4 special edition glasses. Where can you start celebrating the millennium? Did somebody say McDonald's?
What influence did the NBA legends of yesterday have on the stars of today? Find out on Vintage NBA. Tomorrow, Steve Smith looks at the legend of the Iceman, George Gervin. Vintage NBA tonight at 8 on ESPN Classic.
Father Rick, this is Peter Gammons calling you about the letter. I did not have the time or the lack of decency to ask Tony Gwynn to send you the kidney stone he passed in '97. But thanks for reading my column.
The eyes of the sporting world were on Sportsman's Park for game number 7. Within a couple of hours, either the St. Louis Cardinals or the Boston Red Sox will be the 1946 baseball champions of the world. Boston star right-hander Dave Ferris is warming up as starting pitcher for the Red Sox. He's out for his second victory in the series. Over on the Cardinals side, the little right-hander Murray Dixon will start on the pitcher's mound. Stan Musial, National League batting champion, and his teammate Enos Slaughter, who led both major leagues in runs batted in, are getting their famous Louisville Sluggers warmed up for the 7th game.
Play ball!
In the first inning, when Wally Moses singled to center, it looked as though the Red Sox were not to be denied. Johnny Pesky followed with a bounder that got past Marion into center field for a base hit. Moses reached third with no one out. Then DiMaggio lifted a long fly to Slaughter to right field. Moses scoring after the catch, putting the Red Sox in front 1-0. When Moore went far to his right in center field for Williams' long fly, the danger for the Cards was over in the inning. Whitey Karofsky led off the Cardinals' second inning with a rousing double to left center. After Dorr threw out Garagiola, Walker lined to Williams in left center, and Karofsky scored after the catch to tie the ball game at 1-1. In the last of the fifth, Walker singled into center field for the Cardinals. Marion sacrificed his teammate to second. When pitcher Murray Dixon doubled over Higgins' head into left field, Walker scored the run that put the Cardinals ahead 2-1. Shane Dienst followed with a base hit to center field, scoring Dixon with run number 3. When Moore singled to center, Shane Dienst stopping at second, that was enough for Boo Ferris. The right-handed Joe Dobson is the new pitcher for the Red Sox, with the Cardinals leading 3-1. With the Red Sox still trailing in the 8th, there was little time left for action. Manager Cronin sent in pinch hitter Glenn Russell to bat for Wagner, and he singled to center field. Another pinch hitter for Dobson, the left-handed batter George Metkovich, who promptly doubled to left field, Russell stopping at third. This left runners on second and third with none out in the 8th inning. Manager Eddie Dyer called time. Harry Brackeen is brought into the game at this point to replace Murray Dixon. Brackeen swings into a windup, and his third pitch to Wally Moses is a called strike. After Pesky was retired on a fly to Slaughter, both runners holding their base, DiMaggio is at the plate. With a count of 3-1, he lines a base hit off the right center field wall over Slaughter's head for 2 bases, scoring Russell and Metkovich with the tying runs. Now the score is 3-3. Manager Cronin sent Bob Klinger in to pitch for Boston in the Cardinal 8th. Enos Slaughter, the first batter to face him, singled sharply to center field. Attempting to bunt, Karofsky popped to Klinger. Del Rice then flied to Williams, with Slaughter still on first and 2 men away. This brings up Harry Walker, a timely hitter during the series. Slaughter is off with the pitch. Walker swings and lines a double to left center. Slaughter kept on going, rounding third base at full speed, scoring all the way from first, when the relay throw from Johnny Pesky reached home too late for a play on Slaughter. This important run put the Cardinals out in front by a score of 4-3. The Red Sox were still battling in the 9th. The first hitter, Rudy York, walloped a base hit to left. Campbell ran for York. And then Bobby Dorr singled to left, Campbell stopping at second. Higgins forced Dorr at second on an attempted sacrifice, leaving runners on first and third with 1 man out. When the Red Sox catcher Roy Partee fouled to Musial, the Cardinal players started to breathe a little easier. This brought up a Red Sox pinch hitter, Tom McBride, batting for pitcher Johnson. Brackeen eyes the batter carefully. There goes a screwball pitch. McBride grounds to Shane Dienst, and Higgins is forced out at second to end the ball game, with the St. Louis Cardinals winning the 7th and final game of the 1946 World Series by a score of 4-3. It was the 6th time in their 9 World Series appearances since 1926 that baseball's highest honor has gone to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cards also distinguished themselves by winning for the 4th time in a series that went the limit. The victory was no one-man success. It was a triumph for mass spirit and team skill, for cooperation and determination. But still, the series had its individual heroes.
Well, I live out here on a little old farm, and we have a few cows. I got a pickup, 2 tractors, a lawnmower, and a little old boat. Got every start batteries in every one of them, except my cow. One in that old pickup's been in there over 4 years. Starts right up every morning.
EverStart. All the cold cranking power you'll ever need.
Don't matter if it's 100 degrees or 0 outside. Starts every time.
EverStart. The name says it all.
My advice is to go to Walmart and get you an EverStart. Get on down the road.
Well, looky here. $1. Must be my lucky day. But is it really worth it to bend down and pick it up? It's only $1 after all. You can't buy anything good with that. Of course! I forgot about 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes are just 99 cents, and only 9 cents a minute after that, with no monthly fee. Well, I guess $1 really is worth something. Hey, I saw it first.
Dial 10-10-220.
You have to wonder what business that leading specialty coffee chain is really in.
Of a large black. How's this?
But what if instead of all that other stuff, you want simply great tasting coffee? Try Millstone. We make coffee our only specialty. That's why we slow roast choice Arabica beans for a smooth taste that's not over roasted. It's preferred nearly 2-to-1.
These are very popular.
Millstone whole bean coffee. Available at your grocer.
Look at the glare on that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about hair loss? Well, now there are effective treatments for men's hair loss.
Would you like a toupee, sir? Excuse me? Would you like some pate? No, thank you.
Call 1-888-6-MERC-2 to learn more and about a special money-saving offer, or call your doctor to discover which one is best for you. Millions of men have already started using them, so what are you waiting for?
That'll never go back.
Oh, yeah.
Call 1-888-6-MERC-2 to find out more and about a special money-saving offer.
Doesn't look good, does it?
Stop just thinking about it. Call today.
It's only halftime.
Merck, helping make hair loss history.
Yeah.
From weekend warriors to weekday heroes, every day ESPN Classic is old school. This week, celebrate with the Rangers as they clinch the cup for the first time in over 50 years. Then, go to Game 7 from the 91 series. After 9 scoreless innings, the Twins break their deadlock with the Braves. And a classic matchup from the 72 AFC Championship. Plus, the fights of Henry Armstrong, the only boxer to hold 3 division world titles at once. It's all this week on ESPN Classic. Are you old school?
This is ESPN Classic.
Hiya, fans. I'm Marty Glickman. I want you to see one of the most dramatic plays in World Series history. Now watch it closely.
The 1946 World Series and the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Boston Red Sox when Harry Walker drove Enos Slaughter all the way in from first with a winning run while Johnny Pesky held the ball.
That was quite a play. As a matter of fact, it won the 1946 World Series for the St. Louis Cardinals. That was Enos Slaughter scoring from first base on a single by Harry Walker. And that developed quite a controversy, too, as to whether it was Enos Slaughter's tremendous speed, a weak throw from the outfield, or perhaps a momentary delay by the shortstop. As a matter of fact, we have the shortstop with us today. And he is Johnny Pesky of the Boston Red Sox, so we can find out about that situation. Johnny, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Marty.
How have you been?
Good, good.
Well, what was the situation in that particular play, 7th game of the series?
Well, Marty, I've answered that question a lot of times. In fact, they even wrote a song about it out in Chicago right after that happened. Well,
a song about it?
Yeah.
What sort of a song?
Well, I don't know. It was about Pesky, Pesky, please throw that ball. That's Colton Cronin, but it was just one of those things, Marty. I thought maybe I hesitate a little bit. I looked through the pictures and I moaned and groaned about it, and I think I hesitate a little bit. I tried to turn around and quickly as I could to pick up Slaughter, and he'd already got such a good lead and a good jump, and he was almost to the plate when I picked him up, you know, because that ballpark has shadows. But I believe it was my fault, and I don't want to blame anybody but myself, and we lost the series on that one play alone.
Well, Johnny, actually, isn't it a shame that so many athletes have the one unhappy moment recalled for them so many times instead of the great moments they had in baseball?
Well, that's right, Marty, but listen, even though the way that thing turned out in that 46 World Series, why, I still think it was a big thrill, although I was a GOAT, but those things happened to other better ball players than myself, and I was just happy to be in a World Series.
Well, that's right, and you've come a long way in baseball. How did you first break into baseball?
Well, I was a clubhouse boy, just a kid hanging around the ballpark, and the trainer let me come in the clubhouse, shine a few shoes, hang up a few shirts, and so forth, and that way I got to meet a few of the ball players, and I'd get to go out and play with them once in a while, and that's the way I started. And I started to play professional baseball in 1940.
Did you have any difficulty because of your comparative lack of size, Johnny?
Well, I wouldn't say so, Marty. Like all kids, you just like to play, and I just played because I wanted to play and loved to play. And I really don't find it too much of a handicap. Look in the big leagues now, there's a lot of little fellas playing baseball, a lot of little fellas in the minor leagues and so forth. Of course, you don't see many little pitchers. Of course, those pitchers always have to be great big strapping guys where they can knock the bat out of the little fella's hand. You know, that isn't right, is it? Do you think so?
No, I don't think so at all. And say, speaking of knocking the bat right out of the batter's hand, you were doing some hitting yourself while you played, particularly the first 3 years. As I recall, you got over 200 hits your rookie year. Yes, that's right. I think I tied DiMaggio's record, Marty. The reason I had such good luck, of course, I had that big guy Williams hitting behind me and that Dominic DiMaggio hitting in front of me. And of course, Dominic was always overshadowed by his big brother Joe, but to me, he was one of the finest ball players that ever lived. And I more or less was successful due to Dominic being on base and giving me 2 holes to hit through. You know, he'd give me a hole at first base, and if we hit and run, why the shortstop would cover, and I could move the bat in another position and move the ball around. And sure enough, why Dom always made it possible for me to do that, because he was always on base, and he was a great base runner and always left it a lot easier for me. Well, Johnny, along those lines then, hitting into certain spots or through certain spots, particularly through the infield, is something of a lost art in baseball, but you were one of the most adept, and perhaps that's the reason why you hit over 200 base hits your first 3 years up. Is there any particular tips that you might offer on how to pull the ball or how to punch the ball in the opposite field? Well, Marty, that takes a lot of practice. All you do is just change the arc of your bat. Like if you want to pull a ball, the ball's out away from the plate. You got to make sure your bat is out over the plate where you can move the ball this way, or else suppose the ball is in here and you want to go the other way. Well, you got to change the arc of your bat this way. It's more or less just putting a little English on the ball. And sometimes you can see a fellow that's adept at that sort of thing, and you can watch him and see what his reaction is under certain conditions, and you can follow that up that way, and more or less. But the most important thing is to go out and practice, and you can pick these things up for yourself. Do you have to shorten up on the bat to be able to do that? No, not necessarily. All it is you have to change your arc. You know, in other words, cut down on your swing, Marty. Now, of course, I'm up over the plate. It's a little bit easier for a fellow like me, where a fellow holding the bat on the end would be a little bit more difficult. Well, along those lines, then, a fellow like Ted Williams holds the bat at the end, and he swings away almost all the time. Been a lot of talk, too, about Ted should have had many more base hits if he had hit to left field instead of trying to pull the ball all the time. Well, that's right, Marty. I think he could have. Well, he could hit the left field when he wanted to, but he always defied that shift that they had against him. And he says, well, if I'm going to be hitting singles to left field, he says, I get paid to hit home runs, and I think the people that pay their way into the ballpark to see a long ball, that's what I'm going to go for. And he more or less just defied the shift, and I think he done pretty well, don't you? Oh, no question about that. Do you think it was something of a challenge to him then to get those base hits even though they were pulled around to right field? That's right. It was a challenge to him. He figured, well, I'm the greatest hitter in baseball, and he says, I want to go out that way. And he says, I'm going to just defy him and hit right through him, and he did that. Well, you had quite a number of good hitters on your ball club, and you played right alongside of a fellow who was quite an infielder as well as a hitter, Bobby Dorr. One of the finest ball players ever lived, Marty. He could really help you as a shortstop when you played short. That's right. I was 22 when I come to Boston, and Bobby was the second baseman. I replaced Joe Cronin as the regular shortstop, and Bobby helped me an awful lot. He was a very fine ball player and a very nice fellow, a gentleman all the way.
Buy 4 Michelin tires now and get a free emergency roadside kit. Play the Michelin Buy 4 and Score game. Just pick up a game card. Watch College Game Day on ESPN, then scratch and watch for your winning number. You could win a Dodge Viper, plus other great prizes. See your participating Michelin dealer by October 31st.
Proud to be a running back. Proud to hit them before they hit me. Proud to play on a cold day in Green Bay. Proud to play in a new era.
Proud to play in the NFL. Proud to play for a single mother. Proud to have a college degree. Proud to have a twin brother. Proud to play in a new era.
Enterprise? Hi, my car's out of commission, so I'm out of commission.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're gonna love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You gotta eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism.
Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
And here they come up at Fenway. Clemens has set a major league record for strikeouts in a game.
Hi, this is the Rocket, Roger Clemens, and you're watching ESPN Classic.
Counting down the top 20, a humble man with a heroic swing. He defied all odds and rewrote baseball history. Then, his prodigious talent and pure athleticism made him the most formidable offensive threat the game had ever seen. Sports Century athlete number 14, Hank Aaron at 10, and number 13, Wilt Chamberlain at 10:30. Friday on ESPN, presented by General Motors.
Fans, I'm Marty Glickman. We're out at the ballpark ready to talk with Harry the Cat Brackeen. We'll talk with the cat in just a moment. Right now, however, let's watch him in action. Well, that Harry Brackeen sure can pitch. Say, here comes the cat now. Harry, nice to see you.
Nice seeing you.
How come they call you the cat?
Well, I got that nickname when I started out with the Cardinals, and so when we got back to St. Louis, why the sports writers started writing up the cat pitched today and did so and so, and so I've had that name ever since I've been in the big leagues now.
That's quite an achievement, actually, for a pitcher to be referred to as the cat because he's such a fine fielding pitcher. But that wasn't your greatest asset, of course, Harry, and particularly those Boston Red Sox players will remember you as the fellow who beat them in 3 of the 4 games in the 1946 World Series to win the World Series with the St. Louis Cardinals. You certainly were a great series pitcher that year.
Well, I'm glad you said that to me, Marty.
Well, your first time out was in 1943 against the New York Yankees, wasn't it?
That's right. I came in to relieve Yankee Stadium, and Gordon was on first base, and Dickey was the hitter, and he singled. That is, he got a base hit by hitting Gordon with the ball, and so the next guy up was Eaton, and so he singled to right field and was thrown out to third base, so I guess I retired to size with 2 base hits, you might say.
Well, that's a rather unique feat in baseball, retiring the side, particularly in the World Series game, with 2 base hits. But say, that wasn't the only time you relieved in the 1943 series against the Yankees, was it?
No, I relieved in the final game in St. Louis, and Russo was pitching, the left-hand pitcher, and he was the first hitter up and doubled off of me, and Steinbacher bunted him to third base, and Crossatti hit a fly ball to Harry Walker in center field. That's how they won the ball, hitting the fly ball.
Well, that was the only World Series loss in your World Series record, and actually you have 5 in the World Series book, 4 wins and 1 loss. Well, Harry, you more than made up for that 1 loss on your World Series record in 1946 against the Boston Red Sox. Well, let's see, Harry. You won the 6th game of the World Series, you went the route, and then you were called on in relief in the 7th game. Well, Harry, how about that Enos Slaughter and the winning run?
Well, Marty, that was really something. Slaughter was on first base, and Harry Walker was the hitter, and so they put the hitting run on, and so Slaughter took off, and Harry hit the ball to left center. And Slaughter is one of these type guys that really hustles all the time and running, and so he never looked up. He just kept going all the way, and so Pesky got the ball back from the outfielder, and he hesitated just a little bit, and when he did that, it was just a little too late because quick as the ball got into the plate, Slaughter had already crossed the plate, and that's what won the World Series for us.
Must have been some play. How about that last out that the St. Louis Cardinals made in that 7th game?
Well,
you were pitching, weren't you?
That's right. That was one of the plays that really gives you a thrill. They have the tying run on third base, I believe it is, and the ball is hit to Shane Eastwood, man on first base, and so the ball goes up Red's arm and rolls around, and everybody's scared to death he's not going to get the ball, and so finally he gets it and tosses it to Marty for the last out. I'll tell you, that's quite a thrill.
No question about that. Well, Harry, how about your biggest World Series thrill? Number one.
Well, number one biggest World Series was my first game against the Red Sox. Was a 2-0 ball game that I pitched. I'd sit on the bench the first game of the World Series, and Howard Follett had pitched, and I saw during that series, the first game with his control, he was pitching real good to the hitters, and they wasn't hurting him at all, and it gave me a lot of confidence to know if my control would be sharp during the series that I could just win. I thought I could win, and so I went out there, and I believe I just allowed 4 hits or something like that and shut them out 2-0.
You've really got a great World Series record. You started 3 ball games, you finished 3 ball games, you won all 3 of those ball games, and in those 3, you gave up a total of only 2 runs. A really magnificent record. Harry, continued good luck.
Thank you, Marty. Thanks very much.
Good seeing you.
For this historic 95th anniversary of the World Series Championship, Major League Baseball has authorized Balfour, maker of championship rings, to create a limited edition coin to commemorate the series. And now you can reserve one of these historic World Series coins for only $29.95. Millions of fans will watch the World Series games, but only 7,500 coins can be minted before the mold is destroyed. Each coin is individually numbered with a certificate of authenticity. The coin features the official logo of the New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves and is overlaid with pure silver and 24-karat gold by Balfour, the trusted name in sports collectibles. All advanced reservations will receive this collector's display case absolutely free. Sorry, due to the limited quantity authorized, only advanced reservations will be honored. Celebrate this historic 95th series and reserve this valuable collectible today.
To order your official World Series coin, call 1-800-214-3399. That's 1-800-214-3399.
The jobs of tomorrow are here. Thousands of them, waiting to be filled. But you have to know the fields they're in, and you have to have what it takes to master those fields. Because you can't get the jobs of tomorrow until you get the skills of today. Start by calling ITT Technical Institute. We'll send you an informative brochure on tomorrow's careers and what it takes to get them. Call 1-800-942-0099.
Football Classics, Wednesdays at 9, only on ESPN Classic. Are you old school?
This is ESPN Classic.
The name of Stan the Man Musial, you must think of one of the greatest players of the game. Musial was a born hitter at the plate. He had quite a decision to make at one time, though. He was quite well known as a basketball player and received scholarship offers at Duquesne and Pitt universities. Stan made the vital decision, though, of becoming a major league ball player when he signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. Since then, Stan has been 3 times the most valuable player of the National League in an 8-year period. And when Jackie Robinson dethroned him as a National League batting champion in 1949, it was news, because we always look at the top of the list for the name of Stan Musial. From a dead-arm pitcher in 1940, Stan Musial has become one of the great all-time hitters of the national game of baseball. And he's a real nice all-time guy, too. And you'll see what I mean when we go out to the field and meet Stan. Say, Stan Musial, would you mind coming over here?
Lou, how are you?
Well, I'm fine. You?
All right, feeling pretty good.
Well, it's
very
nice
fine.
to see you again. I'd like to ask you a very pointed question, Stan, about your early days in baseball. Were you always an outfielder?
No, Lou, I got started in professional ball as a pitcher, and I pitched for 3 years, and 1 year Dickie Kerr let me play the outfield, and the next year I came down with the Columbus, Ohio, and Bert Shotton changed me into an outfielder, he and Mr. Rickey, and that's how come I got started as an outfielder, Lou.
Well, it looks as though someone knew what they were talking about or doing when they converted you into an outfielder, because you've done a grand job ever since. Stan, I would like to ask you something about batting. You know, it's been about 7 or 8 years ago that we produced a film on the batting stars of the National and the American League, and I remember at that time you'd captured about 1 National League batting title. I wonder how many pitchers were fooled when they first saw your strange batting stance. When the pitch is on its way, Musial's hands stay back in the hitting zone until the very last split part of a second. Then comes the stride and swing. Here's an angle worth studying. Stan holds his hands further from his body than any other player in the major leagues. Musial has been shocking National League pitchers ever since he came to the Cardinals in 1941. He won the first of a long string of batting crowns 2 years later. Well, Stan, speaking of batting championships in baseball, any time that the conversation gets around to batting champions, the name of Ted Williams and Stan Musial seems to come into the conversation.
Well, Lou, it's really a pleasure to have my name associated with Ted, because he is a great hitter and a great ball player, and of course I naturally have a fine feeling when I am associated with Ted. He's a great guy, and I like him very much.
I wonder how these pitchers would feel if they had to pitch against a team with Musial following Williams in the lineup.
And well, you know, Lou, Ted had a great batting career. He's the highest of the American League, and of course he's the last fellow to hit 400, and of course that's quite a feat, and he's a great hitter.
Well, isn't your lifetime batting averages of Ted Williams and yourself pretty close together?
Yes, Lou, we're running fairly close, and of course in baseball we don't refer to averages, so to speak. Just go out and have a great year.
Just try to get a base hit every time you go to the plate, that's all.
Well, you hit something right on the head there. That's the most important thing, because I know I have that feeling, Lou. Every time I'm at the plate, why, I go for a base hit and figure I'm going to get a hit.
Well, I think Stan Musial has a bale of confidence up at the plate. I'd like to go back to 1949, the season of 1949, Stan. I believe that Jackie Robinson mentioned to me the other day that he was the batting leader in that year. And what happened in your own particular case?
Well, Lou, that would give me a nice string of batting titles if I had won that year. And, of course, I was a little disappointed when I didn't win that year, but Robinson had a great year, and he really deserved the win. I got off to a slow start, and up to the All-Star game in June, I was hitting around 300 and made a terrific comeback at the end of the season, but I still didn't. I finished second to Robinson. But he had a great year, and of course I was disappointed, but the better man won.
All-Star games now, Stan. How many All-Star games have you been selected to perform in?
Lou, I've been in 9 All-Star games and had a lot of great thrills. You know, just playing in the All-Star game and chosen to play in the All-Star game is a fine thrill in itself, and I can recall back in Chicago, I think it was in 1950, when we played 14 innings, and Red Shandy's hit a home run to win that All-Star game. It was a terrific game, and one of the best played games I've ever been in, Lou, and that was quite a thrill.
How many World Series have you participated in with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Well, Lou, I've been in 4 World Series, and it was my first 4 years in the big leagues. And as you know, of course, we big league ball players like to make a World Series, and some of us are fortunate enough to make it, and some are not. And it's always a big thrill to play in the World Series, and I can remember the games against the New York Yankees and St. Louis Browns, and our latest one against the Boston Red Sox, and it's really a big thrill to play in the World Series.
Well, we've had a nice baseball chat here, Stan. I want you to keep on leading that league. I know you'll do some real work in the future.
Fine, Louis. It's always a pleasure being with you.
Thank you, Stan. The game of the 1946 World Series play was only part of a dramatic baseball season for the St. Louis Cardinals. They had to meet the Dodgers in the first playoff in history. Then the Cardinals broke the seasonal tie by winning both games from the Dodgers to go into the World Series play. And they fought through 7 games to defeat the Boston Red Sox for the championship of the world. And Harry Brackeen became the first pitcher in over 20 years to win 3 World Series games. Stan Musial was on his way to stardom with 5 extra base hits, and he played errorless ball at first base and handled 62 chances. Well, that's all for now. See you again on TV's Baseball Hall of Fame.
This is ESPN Classic, the Classic Sports Network.
Boston draws thousands of eager fans for the opening game of the World Series. Connie Mack, baseball's grand old man, is present. Joe Louis, the heavyweight champ, is there, as is Mrs. Grace Coolidge. Keeping a watchful eye on the proceedings is Commissioner Happy Chandler. And just for the fun of it, we get a new slant on the old pastime. Do you suppose you could call this an upside-down screwball? Manager Billy Southworth of Boston and Lou Boudreau of Cleveland are set, and Jeff Heath with his broken ankle sits it out. Boudreau gets a good luck token from his missus, and the world of baseball eagerly awaits the result. Over 40,000 fans get ready to yell themselves hoarse, and it's play ball! And it's a pitcher's battle right from the start. Johnny Sane, 24-game winner of the Braves, seems to have the Indian sign on the vaunted Cleveland big guns. But the fans see some near-perfect pitching from Bob Feller, the Indians' great hurling star, pitching his first World Series game. Rapid Robert has a slight edge over Sane in the number of hits given up as the game goes on, and the tension mounts. No score so far in the 8th, when Feller gives up his second walk of the game to Bill Salkeld to start off Boston's half of the inning. And getting Salkeld to first may be just the break needed to bust the game wide open. Boston partisans are even more delirious when Mike McCormick lays down a bunt. On the sacrifice, Bill Macy, running for Salkeld, advances to second base. With 2 outs and the count 1-1 on Holmes, Tommy gets his bat on one, a line single in the left field, and here comes Macy around third on his way for home. It's only 1 run, but it's enough. 1 more than the Indians can put across. To clinch the 1-run margin, Sane strikes out Judnick in the 9th, and it's all over but the tumult and the shouting. Johnny is mobbed by enthusiastic teammates. He won the first 1-0 series game in 25 years. Boston will long remember this one. Next day at Braves Field, again the jam-packed crowds, again the excitement and tension of America's great sport as the second game begins. This one starts off with a bang. Bob Lemon on the mound for Cleveland. With 1 away, Alvin Dark hits a grounder that's fumbled by Gordon, and Dark reaches first safely. Earl Torgerson, Braves first baseman, is next up and proceeds to smash a clean single to right. That's the signal for Mr. Dark to light off in the direction of third, and he makes it, which brings up Bob Elliott at the plate. It's a single for Elliott, and here comes Dark home with the first run of the game. Looks like a real threat with only 1 man out, but the Indians are on the war path. Lemon to Boudreau is the pickoff combination, and Torgerson is out. Scratch 1 threat. Warren Spahn kept out of trouble for 3 innings, but in the 4th, trouble. Boudreau opens the inning with a double. Cleveland's dynamic young player manager again provides the spark when his team needs it most. The tying run is now on second, and that brings up the veteran Joe Gordon. A hit, Gordon singles, and here comes Boudreau racing for third, and he's waved home. In ahead of the peg from the left field, with Gordon going to second on the throw-in. It's all even with Larry Doby up. Spahn winds up, Pitches, and here it comes, and Dobie, whammo! That's all for Spawn, and that's your ball game. Gordon comes home, and the Indians add 2 more to make it 4-1 victory.
Look, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you push it. Hey, it's your car. You want to learn the hard way?